Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Just continuing on with what I was doing with the talking about my top favorite horror movies of all time. I think this is going to be part 6, if I'm not mistaken. And like I said in other videos, these are mainstream horror films as opposed to, for the most part, mainstream horror films, as opposed to independent or ones you'd get on low cost like box sets and stuff, and I got tons of those. And for me to go through all those and pick favorites, it would just take way too long, and I just don't have the time for that. Fun to watch them all, but by the time I get to them all, I probably wouldn't remember them, and I'd have to write down all my favorite ones and everything else. Not worth the effort as far as I'm concerned. Sorry. I'm just lazy that way. So before we start, sorry, my face is itchy. I don't know why I keep scratching it, but um, before we start this, if you want to hit that subscribe button, I got a few more subscribers, and thank you very much for those who subscribed since the last time I made a video. I appreciate it. I just want to get to 1,000 people, 1,000 subscribers, and that's just sort of a small goal I've set for myself. And if it happens, great. If it doesn't, well, I'm going to keep making videos anyway because I just do it because it's kind of fun and it's getting winter, and I really don't have anything else to do because bike riding season in Toronto is, well, it still runs late, but it gets slushy and gross, and I don't want to ride my bike in that because of the salt mostly. But I'm not going to get into all that blah 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 stuff because who cares? That's my problem. But anyway, let's get started. I'm going to put my glasses again. I'm wearing these old man glasses that I found in the park because I'm too lazy to go get the glasses out of the other room, and I'm in this room here because it's quietest and people are sleeping. So, because it's also 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that around that. I don't know what time is it? It is, yeah, about 2:45. So, anyway, I'm going to start off with Ginger Snaps. I do really like this movie. I think it's got some good scares. It's got a good, interesting kind of story. It's the two sisters here. They're a little bit morbid, I guess. They like taking pictures of themselves as dead and whatever. I don't know if you wouldn't quite call them gothy, but I don't know what else to say. But it's a really good movie. It kind of has like almost an American Werewolf in London sort of vibes to it. The way it starts, anyway, to a point. Except they're in a park. They're not backpacking across Europe. But it's really good film. Interesting to note. Ginger's the older sister, and I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, but I can't remember her character's name. That is, but she's older than her, and in reality, Emily Perkins is older than Catherine Isabel, who plays Ginger in real life. But it's also interesting. They make her look kind of like down and unattractive and stuff. But you see another thing. She's actually very pretty. Both of them are actually. But it's an excellent movie. And just a little side note, there's an animated version. I know I spoke about this in another video, one of these videos not too long ago. And she actually does the voice of Barbara. Um, Other things about this movie that's good. The transformation scene is pretty good. It's all practical effects. It's really watchable. So I'm a little bit stuffy, so my mind's a little spacey. Apologize, but yeah, the special effects are incredible in this movie. Definitely worth the watch. The sequel, Ginger Snaps 2, I think that's the one that's the period piece, and it's pretty good too. I never saw the third one, but I never heard really any good things about it. But if I ever see it streaming somewhere, I'll probably check it out. So put that one down. Next one we got. Oh, sorry, my apologies. The Invisible Man, starring Claude Rains. I really like this movie. It's out of the Universal movies, like with the main ones before the sequels and stuff. This one is actually it's I don't know if it's intentional, but it's more of a comedy. It's played off, in my opinion, for laughs. It is really well done. The special effects for its time were actually really good. Claude Rains in it is hilarious, but he's an excellent actor anyway. But there's so much silliness that I don't know if it's supposed to be scary because you're laughing your way through this whole movie, and it is still definitely worth the watch. I would definitely check it out. There are some sequels in here that, like, this is the Universal like Legacy Collection, has all the movies in the Invisible Man series in it, as all the Legacy collections do. They have the whole series of that. I have the whole Legacy collection, which I'm very proud to own. Um, and there's one sequel in here called The Invisible Woman, and it's also campy and a little bit silly too. I can't remember if it's good, but it's actually kind of got some sexy scenes in it because she's invisible, which I guess technically she's naked. She's pulling out her stockings, and you can see the shape of the stocking coming over her leg. It's a really well done effect for that time. So I do have to say, check that one out too. But definitely check this out if you want a good laugh. The one thing about these movies, if you want to give them a chance, you're not really big on black and white or classic horror. Most of these Universal movies, the early ones, the run times are like an hour and 15 minutes, so you're not sitting there for 2 hours like waiting for it to end. So they go by pretty quick, and they're usually pretty entertaining. So, and speaking of which, I actually have a Claude Rains Invisible Man figure. I know I talked about it in another video, but I'm not doing the whole talking about toys video. I just wanted to show that I have it. Pop that back up over here. Kind of falls over a little bit, but that's fine. Now, next one I'm going to talk about is The Ring, which is a remake, obviously, of Ringu. I'm going to tell you, usually I don't like when Hollywood tries to take foreign films and then Americanize them, make their own version, because a lot of times it comes out too well done, right? Too much effects driven, less they take away from the story and throw in too much effects, and it drives me up the wall. And people also won't watch the original because they're basing it on what they just saw. And sorry, I need a drink. I am not right now, but if you're gonna do a remake of a foreign film, this is the way to go. I think it's an excellent film. It's well casted. I mean, I've mentioned her name many, many times. Naomi Watts is absolutely stunning. Maybe not in that picture where she's screaming, but she is also an incredibly talented actor. But most people already know what this is about, so I'm not going to get into too much detail. I do like it better than the original. The effects are a lot better, but still the story it doesn't really stray too far from the original, so I do give it credit for that, as well as just being the superior film, which is very rare. So check that one out if you haven't already, and if you haven't checked out the original, check it out. It's still worth a watch. I wouldn't own it if I didn't like it. So yeah, give it a shot. Next up is The Wolfman from, I think it's 1941, and it is I love this movie. It's really well done. You really get in touch with the character, Larry Talbot. I think that's his name. I think that's scary. I just watched this again the other day, but anyway, that's not important. But it's got the whole Wolfman collection in it, but it's definitely the first one is the best. A lot of movies take from this movie and use a lot of the tropes that didn't exist before this movie came out. I think the whole silver bullet thing, or getting killed with silver, I think that comes from this movie, and I'm not quite sure, but I think the whole full moon thing does kind of too. It sort of does its own thing. It's not taken from a novel that I know of. It's not taken from another source. It's just another Universal Picture original based on Legends of Werewolves and things like that. It is a good movie. Other things to note in it? No, not this one. Oh, something. My mistake. I meant to mention something about this one. Claude Rains. I can't believe I just completely forgot about it. But other people that are in this is the actor, and I've just forgotten his name. He plays Clarence in It's a Wonderful Life. Completely different character. The movies are made about 11, 12 years apart, but he's really good in this. And if you know that It's a Wonderful Life, and you're so used to seeing him, that character, and you see him in this movie, you're like, oh, that's him. He kind of surprises you. And not only that, Gloria Stewart is in this movie, and she played Elderly Rose in James Cameron's Titanic. And just to show something here, one little scene of just want to grab this picture. I just think it's kind of funny. Well, not funny, but it's just interesting. But she says, "Oh, I was quite a dish." So I wanted to look and see what she looked like a long time ago, because I like looking up like older actors and their careers and what they look like then versus now and that sort of thing. But yeah, she was kind of right on that. She is quite a dish, or she was, and she's almost kind of doing the Rose pose, only flipped the other way around. So just thought that was a little bit interesting. But anyway, again, yeah, this movie's good. The transformation, it is what it is for its time. It's pretty well done. It's Jack Pierce doing what he does, and I think the look of the wolf is really good. He's not like the all fours monster. So you see an American Werewolf in London or Ginger Snaps, for example. It's the traditional wolf man, and it's good. It's really good. What else was I going to say about this? There was something, and now I can't remember. But I'll pop that there. Maybe it'll pop it in my head. But I'm going to show. I also have a Wolfman figure too. This one's kind of wonky. I had to glue him in place because he would fall over all the time. But that's what he looks like there. Now I know what I was going to say. When he's doing the transformation, I always thought this was a little bit funny. He's doing the transformation, he's wearing a tank top, and you see all the fur and everything start appearing. Well, actually, you don't really see it on his face yet. You see it on his legs, but he starts off in a tank top. And then later on, when you see him in the woods running around, he's wearing this green jacket, or, well, whatever color it originally was, but he's wearing a jacket and he's running around. It's like, so did he get cold as a wolf throwing his jacket before leaving? I always thought that was a little bit. It's an error, but it's just a continuity error that happens in pretty much every movie ever made at some point, but it is definitely something I noticed and always get a little chuckle out of it. So after that, we got Black Christmas. I love this movie. It's a Canadian movie. It's done by Bob Clark, and who also did A Christmas Story, which most people know that movie. It's a comedy, and I'm not going to get into details about that one right now because I'll probably be talking about that one soon enough anyway. But it's really well casted. It's got Margot Kidder in it as one of the main characters, and I gotta say, she's a really good-looking woman when she was younger. And I'm gonna forget her name, so I gotta look here. Olivia Hussey, who was in the TV version of it, which I don't really like that much. I think it's got some good parts, but for the most part, it's not good. Tim Curry makes the whole movie. Aside from that, it's just kind of okay. But anyway, that's just a little side note. But it's a really good movie. It's one of the early slasher films. I think it was one of the ones that started off the trope of like, Friday the 13th, Halloween, My Bloody Valentine, all the holiday themed kind of thing. Happy Birthday to Me even. And even the remake, which goes in a completely different direction. A lot of people don't like this. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's great, but it's completely different story. It's the same generic story, but it has the reasons for things happening are more explained in this one, but they have absolutely nothing to do with why things happen in this movie. But also another thing, I met I can't remember her name, but she was the original victim. That's Olivia Hussey, but she was the original victim in this movie. That if you've seen the movie, that ends up getting killed, and she's upstairs in the attic the whole time, in the window. That really creepy. I met her at Horrorama a couple years ago, and really nice woman, super chill, super cool. And she asked me about A Christmas Story, and I didn't make the Bob Clark connection. I thought, and I had a few drinks too, so because I get a little bit nervous around celebrities and stuff if I'm by myself, especially. So I had a couple drinks and then I chat with her. So because it's me and I had a couple drinks, she asked me about that, and I go, "Oh yeah, I watch it every year." And then I start talking about other movies, and then she's looking, "Oh yeah," and she's kind of smiling. We're still engaging in the conversation. She's talking about other movies, and then when I left, it was like palm smack. I was already on the subway heading home, and it was like Bob Clark. Oh my God, she was making the connection between movies, and I didn't pick up on it because I'm an idiot. But anyway, why am I crooked now? But anyway, yeah, that was my little story about her, and I've forgotten her name, but she was really nice, and she's also in Curtains as well, which I haven't actually seen, but I heard it's a good movie for its time. Moving on, I got the Blair Witch Project. This came out in 1999. I saw a midnight screening of this. I know I talked about this the other day. I did a ranking of the 3 Blair Witch films, so I'm not going to get in too much detail about this, but it is an excellent movie. It's scary. When it first came out, nobody even knew who the actors were. They were sort of young. They hadn't really been in anything yet. They after they did the movie, they had to sign a contract where they sort of had to sort of stay hidden a little bit for a year. Couldn't do any movies for a year, just to sort of keep the momentum going, keep the mystery going of people believing that it's real. And they used their real names, which actually that really helped with believing that it was a true thing. And also they have, which is in this too, they put out a special called Curse of the Blair Witch, which was an hour-long special that was on TV and talked about it with believable news footage and really well done. The documentary is done incredibly well. It's so believable. And that's what got people going. Plus the internet was starting new, and I think this was the first movie where they started using the internet as a tool of marketing their movies in the sense of trying to make people believe that this was real. So it was a lot of work was put into a movie that had virtually no budget to make. So it's pretty interesting. Was there anything else I was going to say about this? I know the character, the actor Josh, he's gone on to do other things. Mike, I'm not sure what he's done. She has a marijuana store somewhere, I think in New York, but I could be wrong about the location. But I know that's what she's doing. And another thing about this too, it's a found footage film. A lot of people give it the credit as being the first one. It's not the first one. There's been quite a few before it. This was one that just kind of exploded the genre and reinvented it and brought it back to the public. But it is an excellent film. The next one is one of the first found footage movies ever made. Now, there's mixed feelings about this movie. I love this movie. I love the horror scenes, the gore, the graphic. It was done so believable, so well that, like the footage they used, that the maker of the film actually got arrested for murder, and they actually had to go and find all the actors that were in the film. I think it's an Italian movie, if I'm not mistaken. Go around and find them to prove they're still alive, that they weren't actually murdered for this movie. Now, unfortunately, the only things that I find disgust me all the hell about this movie is that they actually killed real animals to make the movie, and not just one or two, and not just like something small like a mouse. Like they killed like a monkey, they killed a soft shell tortoise, like a big thing, and I can't watch those scenes. This stuff here with all the human stuff, it's fake and stuff. I can tolerate that. It's fine. It's entertainment. But when they're killing the animals, it drives me crazy, and I hate it. I really, I wish that's. I don't see why they had to do that. But aside from that, the rest of the movie is really well done. It's believable because it's supposed to be a found footage movie. And I definitely recommend checking it out. If you're squeamish about animals dying as I am, those parts are probably they're going to stick with you because the first time I saw it, I was just I couldn't get it out of my mind that someone would do that. But I'm not going to dwell on that too much because not much. I can't do anything to unchange it, so or to change it rather. Anyway, up next we're running at 17 minutes. Poltergeist, Steven Spielberg, Tobe Hooper. Poltergeist. It's this is a really good movie. I've never really considered it a horror film, but it does have some scary parts in it. It's I do really like it. Oops. I like how the slipcover is like contrast to the actual case in this version. Unfortunately, I watched this the other day and there's a scratch on it and it just started skipping, so I'll probably have to go and get another copy of this, even though I'm getting rid of so many DVDs and stuff. This is one I want in my collection, so I was really pissed off when when I saw that happening. Special effects in this for their time are actually really well done. Rumor has it that Tobe Hooper was doing so much cocaine at the time that he didn't even really direct it too much. It was Steven Spielberg coming in, but Steven Spielberg has also disputed that many times. So I will believe Spielberg over rumors. A couple other things. There's skeletons in this movie that were actual skeletons, but they didn't tell. Fuck, I'm not good with names today. Jo Beth Williams. I didn't even find it yet. It just popped in my head. Who I always thought was really pretty. In the pool scene, those are actual skeletons, not fake ones, because the fake ones were more expensive than the real ones. So Hollywood, same with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Some of the human skeletons in the movie were legit human remains as opposed to prop remains. I don't mean they dug them up, but they were human remains that they bought, I think, from India or something and used them in the film. And I think it was sort of the same thing with this. Sadly, a lot of people in this film had passed away. There's rumored there was a curse on the scene. The actress here who plays Carol Ann, and damn, I'm forgetting everybody's name today. Let's see. Don't worry, it'll come to me after I finish the video, and I'm sitting down on the couch loading it, and I'll go, oh, fuck, that's her name. But anyway, and a few other people. The older sister in this movie was strangled to death by her ex-boyfriend because she didn't want to get back together. She died of it was an illness. I can't remember what it was exactly, but sadly I think she was only 12 years old, which is pretty heartbreaking. And but aside from all the tragedy, oh, and the son in it too. That's the son in it. I can't even remember his name now, but he was almost strangled to death on set. It was actually Steven Spielberg who happened to be there, saw what was going on, realized that the prop there was a clown that was wrapped its arm around his neck and was dragging him. He realized that the mechanism didn't work properly or something, and it actually almost killed him, and he was turning red and blue and whatever. Spielberg jumped in and basically ripped the thing off of him to save his life, which props to that. That everybody else thought he was just acting. Oh wow, look at him. Well, he can even change the color of his face. That is acting. But no, unfortunately, it wasn't. So next, move this along a little bit, is The Howling. One of my favorite werewolf movies of all time. It's up there with Ginger Snaps and American Werewolf in London. And in terms of more, movies from the last 40 years or so, special effects are amazing. Dog Soldiers was the other one I was thinking of that I really like. The special effects in this are amazing. They're done by Rob Bottin or Rob Bottin, depending on who sang it to you. I don't know why I took it out of that, but it's really well done. He was originally, Rick Baker was doing some of the effects, and I think Rob Bottin was originally like an apprentice or a student of his, and you can kind of see some of the influence, how it goes back and forth. A lot of like the face stretching is very similar to an American Werewolf in London. It's not a flawless transformation. There are some parts of it that are a little hokey, usually around the eyes, because eyes are kind of hard to fake, I guess. But aside from that, it's good. There is a sex scene in it that's hilarious. It's a transformation sex scene, and part of it, the last part, was done hand animated off in the distance, and it looks really kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, but they're having sex and they're transforming, and they're going like, "Rawr, rawr, rawr," and it's kind of funny to watch. But aside from that, it's a decent movie. It's got a good story. I haven't read the books, but I actually like the story in this better than an American Werewolf in London, to be honest. It's a little bit less generic of boy meets girl, falls in love, etc., etc. And it's got Dee Wallace in it, who was a scream queen back in the 70s and 80s. So it's good. It's always good to see her something, because she can do it. Like, she's a great actor, horror actor, and she's also an ET. The last one I'm going to talk about is Alien. In space, they can't hear you scream. I hope I said the tagline right. But so the inside looks. So this has got like one of these guys, and then that's the poster, is the cover. The practical effects in this movie are incredible. The design, which is done by H.R. Giger, is it's just incredible. So original. It's like an unstoppable thing, because they grow in like a day or something like that, and you kill them. Their blood is acid. They're just. It's such an amazing character, an amazing alien, amazing creature. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I'm losing my voice too, but if you haven't checked this out, it is definitely worth checking out. The chest bursting scene, which is everybody's heard of it, or at least seen it, or at least heard of it. And I got a little paw sneaking up here. You can probably hear the cat, because I'm using her scratching post kind of thing as a table. So sorry, Lemmy. But check this movie out. The effects are incredible. It's scary when it needs to be scary. It's slow when it needs to be slow. It's just really well done. So that's gonna be it for this. I'm just gonna show one of my my xenomorphs. I got like 4 different ones, but this is probably my favorite one. It's kind of cool. He's got a see-through top. My other one also has the little mouth that comes out, and I have another one. You push a button, the mouth comes out, and it makes like a screechy noise. But when I bought this is an NECA one. Oh, I burped. Sorry. It's got the egg with the chest burster coming out of it, or not the chest burster. Sorry, the baby xenomorph, or whatever you want. I don't know what they're called. The little guys that come out of the eggs that they impregnate the person with, and then I got as a little chest burster. And I know I talked about that in a couple videos, and it was actually my first unboxing video. But anyway, sorry, this one kind of dragged a bit, because at least I'm not feeling all that good. I was out in the cold a little bit today, and I'm all stuffy. So apologize for that. And I'll take another drink of water before I say goodbye. But yeah, so the video kind of dragged a little bit, and I apologize, as I said. But if you want to subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. Help bump me closer to that 1,000 subscribers that I'm really hoping to get. And I hope the next one will be a little bit more be a little bit more proactive in my mentality, and my mind will be a little bit straighter because I won't be feeling like garbage. And no, it's not COVID or anything like that. It's just I just was out in the cold and it sucks. But anyway, until the next one, I guess. Thanks for watching and bye.